Have you heard of Bardo being very scary after you die, in the Bardo stage? I'm sure those who have a little information about Bardo, you must have heard how Bardo can be very scary. Now, scary is a different way of describing the Bardo. But why it is scary? Because we are all afraid of that boredom. And also, one should understand that Bardo state, or this gap, or this presence, that itself is not scary at all. Because there are people like us, who is very much indulged by the past and future, who are so afraid of this stage of Bardo, because there are people who are scared of. That's why we think that a Bardo becomes scary. You understand? Because there are being consciousness who are afraid of. That's why automatically we make Bardo something horrible, something terrible. But Bardo itself is not a terrible at all. Out of the insecurity, we do have lots of phenomena like that. And the influence also. For example, once when I was in New York, I was invited by Sake Center, Jisung Sake in New York, and I stayed a few nights there. So one night I went to late night movie, and I came back, and there was, the underground. There was no one almost. There's nobody. Just empty train. In half an hour, going subway. Yeah. And in one station, one big black man. Well, I have this insecurity and attitude that I have these white people telling me how bad they are, how dangerous they are. They can, anything like that. So all along, I was so afraid looking at him. More and more I look at him, he becomes more and more scary. And I was actually inside, secretly I was planning, which way to escape if he moves. So just before I get up, he was begging me $1. So he's so powerless, he's so timid. So this Bardo idea, again, out of our insecurity, we have sort of created this Bardo idea as something very scary, something very terrible. Death, for example. We have created this death as something very terrible. I have lots of friends who deny to talk about the death. Anyway, why this being is able to reach this state of the Dhamata? No, not Dhammakaya. No? Now this old translation lineage, the Nyingma lineage, they believe that this shows that we have the Buddha nature. Usually we don't recognize this Dhammata because we have all these doors, these senses, these sense faculties. So we are just so busy. We are completely wrapped. We are completely engaged. So at this point, naturally when these elements and winds, when they dissolve, the Dharmata or the Buddha nature, so-called Buddha nature, is for those who are packed with habitual patterns, ordinary beings, they don't recognize it. Not only they don't recognize it, they don't go to there to be recognized or to recognize. They, phenomena, they reach there, but in this, let's say you have a very old friend, maybe your mother, whom you haven't met for 30 years, let's say, and you are completely, okay, today you go to shopping center, for example, and you have all these things to do tonight, go to the supermarket, iron your shirts and things like that, so many works. So you are rushing, and your mother is there selling the cabbage. You just pick the cabbage and you go. When we talk about them, we talk about not recognizing, but with that person, there's no phenomena, there's no notion of recognizing or not recognizing. So for these beings, they just, they just touch there, and then they come back, and all the habitual patterns start to arise again. Instead, they will be so afraid of this, very, very new thing. This state, some sentient beings, they may live there, they may reach there, and they may have a unusual, slightly longer time. And when they face this dharmata, they just can't accept it, because it is a state where you can't corrupt. It's a state of, no corruption. And you are so used to corruptions, you see. So you can't remain there. You are so afraid. You will only like to get away from that. If I speak on behalf of the Easterners, like Singaporeans, like Malaysians, then they kind of become so ashamed of themselves seeing this, If I speak on behalf of the Westerners, Americans, Europeans, they feel so guilty of seeing that. They may even begin to say, I'm not worthy of it. Mal, I'm sorry. But for our practitioners, I'm sure some of you, like Choa Bun, even our Choa here, our Johor Baru Choa, and some of you, I'm sure that you are familiar with Nyingma's term of Russell Mabu, the mother luminosity and the sun luminosity. The luminosity or the emptiness that we practice during our lifetime. And if you are good at that, when you die, when all this dissolution is finished, and when you reach that luminosity, which the Nyingmapas call it mother luminosity, as there will be no second thought for a son to get into the lap of the mother, this yogi will immediately recognize the mother luminosity and become inseparable, and that's how they get enlightenment. So in other words, if you know this mother luminosity or this state or this luminosity, then you get enlightenment. Now, if you are not accustomed, this is the literal, this is how they use. If you are not accustomed to this mother luminosity, which means that you will not be able to reach the enlightenment, then your awareness will leave your body. Awareness is still inside the body, the corpse, up to now. As a sign of that, for some people, the white drop may come out from the secret place, and the red drop may come out from the nostrils. And then the luminous Bardo, the Dhamata Bardo will begin to arise. So now, what is it? Now again, another set of dissolution is beginning. Now the luminous itself is also going to dissolve into the state of what they call unity. And at that point, you will see lots and lots of wrathful deities, mainly 52 wrathful deities. Not 52, 58, I'm sorry. And you will see lots of wrathful deities, just making different noise and running up and down and things like that. Showers of weapons and fire, and like a big storm. And for those who can't recognize these wrathful deities as a display of one's own rigpa, the awareness, then they will faint at that time. And as they wake up from that coma or kind of faint state, then like a rain, that storm has already stopped already. There's not even a sign of that wrathful deity's storm. Then gradually the 42 different types of peaceful deities will arise. All the container phenomena, such as the place like Singapore, like the mountains, the river, and all these will not be like tangible and dualistic phenomena such as this, but these are all you will perceive as kind of a light form. Now this is again we can understand because this time you don't have the gross eyes, any of this. So you have a very, very refined mind. And so a refined subject always perceive the refined object. Sometimes, once in a while, you may remember some kind of uncertain form that you have. you will perceive 5 Dhyani Buddhas, and 5 Dhyani Buddha appearing in front of you, and slowly and gradually they all dissolve into your heart. And then the unity, state of unity, also dissolve into the wisdom, the state of wisdom. At that point you will see many different kinds of lights above you, yellow, green, white. Now at this point you will also have the energy of mindfulness. If you are good at the practicing of the sadhanas and the devotions towards your guru, you will be able to remember them. So at that point you should practice constantly. Now even though you can't liberate, you can't get the liberation there, then you can, with a good concentration, make prayers there and try to sort of reborn in a pure realm, or maybe better realm such as human realm, where you can practice the Dhamma again. You will have a little bit of control there. Now here actually traditionally we do some kind of a meditation, so maybe we will do a short one afterwards. Anyway, you may have this question, this doubt: why all these deities, especially like Vajrasattva, whom you never know, and how the hell I should know whether he is Vajrasattva or not, But it has a very elaborate explanation, such as, in the initiation, actually you can receive the Bardo initiation. It is so long. It takes like almost 11 hours or something. First, the Samantabhadra Buddha will arise. Here is the picture here. Peaceful deities, and then the wrathful deities here. Now, when the Samantabhadra Buddha appears, I will just recall some of the initiation text. It says like, sons and daughters of the Tathagatas, which means you. So don't look behind. Don't think that the Samantabhadra Buddha is someone else. Don't think that Samantabhadra Buddha is categorized into he or she or a being. That mind, that clear mind that you have, the clarity aspect of your mind, that itself is the Samantabhadra Buddha. Samantabhadri is the emptiness aspect of your mind. In order to represent that, the empty and the clarity aspect never separates. They are in union. Don't think, then the 5 Dhyani Buddha arise. Don't think that they are, again, some tangible phenomena, some gross phenomena or something like that. The pure aspect of your consciousness itself is the Akshobhya Buddha. Now actually this is the part you need the most elaborate. That's how why it, because then we have to logically prove that why our consciousness aspect is, why it is called Akshobhya Buddha, why not just rather consciousness Buddha, something like that. For example, feeling is the pure aspect of the feeling is the Amitabha Buddha. So first we study about what is feeling, relatively and ultimately. Then we study about what is Amitabha, what is relatively and ultimately. Then, for example, the pure aspect of the feeling is feeling equality, equal. Equanimity, you can also say that. And this equality itself is the great compassion. So, this great compassion, if we call it the feeling, because the name feeling has been used for many dirty things, it will not enlighten you. Therefore, we use Amitabha, color red. Red is color of magnetizing, power. And then Amitabha is usually in union with Buddha Lochani, Dakini. And who is she? Where does she come from? Now, she is the pure aspect of the earth element. Well, then we have a complicated studies here now. So let's forget about this. We skip it, okay? We don't have time, We still have to talk the other Bardo. So we will do a little bit of this. So now everybody stay straight. Death has now arrived. So you should adopt this attitude. I have arrived at the time of death. So now, by means of this death, I will adopt only the attitude of the enlightened state of mind. friendliness and compassion, and attain perfect enlightenment for the sake of all the sentient beings, as limitless as space. I will act for the good of all beings. If I do not attain this, I will recognize the Bardo state as it is, and attaining the indivisible great symbol form in the Bardo. Without letting go of this attitude, you should remember and practice whatever meditation teaching you have received in the past. O son of noble family, at this moment your state of mind is by nature pure emptiness. It does not possess any nature whatever, neither substance nor quality such as color, but it is pure emptiness. This is the Dhammata, the female Buddha Samantabhadri. But this state of mind is not just blank emptiness. It is unobstructed, sparkling, pure and vibrant. This mind is the male Buddha Samantabhadra. This too, your mind, whose nature is emptiness without any substance whatever, and your mind, which is vibrant and luminous, are inseparable. This is the Dhammakaya of the Buddha. O son of noble family, now what is called death has arrived. You are not alone in leaving this world. It happens to everyone. So do not feel desire and yearning for this life. Even if you feel desire and yearning, you cannot stay. You can only wander in samsara. Do not desire. Do not yearn. Remember the three jewels. O son of noble family, whatever the terrifying projections appear in the Bardo of the Dhammata, do not forget these words, but go forward remembering their meaning. The essential point is to recognize with them. Now when the Bardo of Dhammata dawns upon me, I will abandon all thoughts of fear and terror. I will recognize whatever appears as my projection, and know it to be a vision of the Bardo. Now that I have reached this crucial point, I will not fear the peaceful and wrathful ones, my own projections. Go forward, saying these words clearly and distinctly.
清楚地讲下面的话。
O son of noble family, after being unconscious for 4.5 days, you will move on, and awakening from your faint, you will wonder what has happened to you. So recognize it as the Bardo state. At that time, samsara is reversed, and everything you see appears as lights and images. O daughters of noble family, do not take pleasure in the soft smoky light of the hell beings. This is the inviting path of your neurotic veils, accumulated by violent aggression. 10 minutes break. So we will, the second part of our class tonight will be this question and answering. And you ask me questions, a few questions first, okay? And maybe I will then begin to ask you questions, especially people who have received Bardo teachings twice. What is it? I'm totally in Bardo now. What? I understand. No. Well, you see that this is very tricky question, because the meditation itself is the Bardo. Mm-hmm. When it is taught as a sixth Bardo, right? Mm-hmm. But if you are talking about when you are doing meditation, you die and you go through all these dissolutions and you go to this, painful Bardo of dying, then no. This is a long one. Now, how is it that just after the death, a Bardo being can get into another human being's body and speak through him or her? This is very tricky. Usually, when a person dies, it is believed that for 3 days or for 49 days, it doesn't, it varies. They don't know that they're dead. Oh, did you watch this movie, Ghost? That's quite good, quite good. That black thing coming out, the black ghost or something. Oh, that's kind of, Hollywood Usual Hollywood problem. Did you watch Papa? That's, yeah. They usually don't know. They said it is believed. As we don't know that we are living. So, I don't know these things are true or not. But these things are not written in the Bardo text, okay? This is from those who have gone through certain kind of experience. Can be even much more practical than the book. Sounds like when I hear these, experiences, I feel that these things usually comes more to those who have more superstition. It is said that when you die, if you are born, if you are birth sign, or what do you call it, this 12, if you are, let's say, if you are a snake, if you are born in the year of the snake, then when you die, you think that you are still alive. You have a certain kind of form. You think that you all have this form. Then you go to your bed and you see a dead snake. And because you don't know you are dead, you try to talk with your family members, things like that. You try to do what you do usually. But obviously there will be no response from the families. So you begin to sort of get angry towards the people. And as this keeps on going for 3 days or 4, then you start to feel you are just kind of left alone, and you start to feel that something must be wrong, Then you start, then also with many different signs. I think these are quite true actually. Like when you think about upstairs, you are already upstairs without even have to walk through the steps. When you think about downstairs, you are already downstairs. You see, without having to walk down. So this kind of first, even though it appears from the beginning, you really don't notice these things, but then you begin to notice a little bit. It kind of gives has a little bit of logic because of all this attachment could make us blind and think that we are still alive. And this being will suddenly realize that, oh, I think I'm died. And it is believed that at that moment he will hear a voice of someone who has died a long time ago. Maybe your great-great-grandfather or somebody. And then you will like, out of your curiosity, you always like to go through and search, what is this? So the moment you hear this, then you go and search for this person, this being. And then at that time, you are already in the state of Bardo. Yeah, then all different kinds of Bardo experience, such as meeting different people, having to walk through the deserts for days and months and years, alone, things like that appears. A question like, there's a question, it is, oh no, yes. This question, for example, this entering Bardo being into another being can happen if there is a strong attachment and a strong concentration. Not a good kind of concentration, but a concentration that is if you're oriented by a very strong anger or very strong attachment. I think the Ghost movie has something like that, if I remember. What was it? Throwing a cap of Coca-Cola or something? Yeah. Whoever made this script of this ghost must have some idea of this. The question also is asked whether the butterflies and things like that, many people have also observed insects like butterfly having around the corpse and think that it is the Bardo being taking contact of the insects, right? It can happen, but not necessarily, Can the Bardo being understand what the Lama is saying if the Bardo being has never heard of the Bardo teaching before and have not learned Tibetan before? Since the Bardo teaching describes mostly the experience that is happening, it will work. And also the Bardo being will have not so much the language problem because he doesn't have sense organs. Question number 3: will the Lama use son of noble family at one point and daughter at another out, or be consistent through, that is, son if male Bardo or daughter if female Bardo? We will call the daughters of the noble family, especially if there's anybody belong to Women's Liberation Organization. Does the experiencing of near death, the Bardo state of loss of sense, leaving only luminosity, clarity and emptiness, at ease, condition 1 for body death? I can't understand this very well, huh? I think he has got a kind of idea. I see. Oh, that's. Yeah, it will help. Please explain the state of mind if one is in coma. Regretless. I think so. It's very difficult to describe this. Moreover, the consciousness becomes coma, but mind I don't think becomes coma. Huh? Now this is completely like a Buddhist metaphysics dialogue, making the difference between the mind and the consciousness. Consciousness is more gross and the mind is more subtle. Experiences. I feel that these things usually comes more